Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, educators, administrators, fellow teachers, and welcome again to Acadasia Technology Tuesdays. It's that time of the week again, and I'm so glad to be with all of you. I am Roy Paton, co-founder and chief community officer of Acadasia. We are a Singapore-based, impact-driven edtech business, and we are here to empower educators everywhere. And so glad to have all of you here with us. I'm just going to do a couple of shout outs at the start of this program. We have to say hello to our friends, of course, from the Philippines. We have friends from, I think, Dubai as well here, from Singapore. Hello to you. We also have friends from Dapitan City. Hello to you. We also have friends from Tunisia. Okay, hello and welcome to all of us. And of course, all of our other friends who will be joining the session later on. So if you hadn't noticed, I think our time slot today is also just in time with the lunar eclipse that is just happening right this very moment. So maybe you can watch the moon while you're watching us. Okay, if you can go out to your balconies and just enjoy the session today. So today we'll be talking about cool technology tools that we can use for our own teaching practice. And this entire month, we are talking about project-based learning. And if you had joined us last week, our webinar Wednesday, the week before, we had touched upon what is project-based learning and what is that approach and how do we involve learners in a more independent style, student-driven manner rather than a teacher-driven manner so that they can actually initiate their own solutions thinking and creative processes when you present them with situations or problems in the community. So very interesting topic. You can actually go back to our course in Acadasia if you want to rewatch that recording. But as we move on, this week now we'll be focusing on some cool tech tools. Okay, so today we're looking at how we can actually use Wakelet, which is a very interesting online tool. And we'll show you more in a bit. And how do you use Wakelet for project-based learning? Okay, so that's our topic for Technology Tuesday for this day today. So over the next hour, very happy to have all of you with us. Okay, so hello, good evening. Isaiah from Kenya, hello again. Welcome and for joining the program. We have Mel Hassan from Bataraza, Palawan. Okay, never been there. Priscilla Mali, hello from Indonesia. Terima kasih. And of course, Susan also from Indonesia. Terima kasih. Thank you for joining us today. All right. So before we get into the actual Wakelet introduction and demonstration, I just want to bring in one of my colleagues here at Acadasia. He's had over 2 decades of experience in various education roles and fields, all up to corporate training, in fact. Prior to this, he was actually one of the heads and principals for a senior high school of a prominent private senior high school here in the Philippines. I just want to get his insights on what we talked about last week and how we can use probably new tech tools. I'd like to bring in Jake Aragon. Jake, can you please join me on the stream?
Hi, Roy. Good evening to you and to all our teachers who are joining us tonight. Welcome to Tech Tuesday, brought to you by Acadasia, the largest online global community of educators from all over the world. So, Roy, we're very excited to learn more about how we can implement project based learning in our classrooms and in our schools. And tonight, we will have an opportunity to learn about how we can take it to the next level by actually using a program to enhance the PBL experience. So we're very excited and very much looking forward to this learning session today.
Absolutely, man. So it's like here we want to be able to kind of introduce all the tools and techniques available online, and there's so many.
Right.
A lot of our teachers now and educators at our disposal. We have so many ways to create more engaging learning experiences for our learners, and I think Wakelet will be a cool example of how we can actually do that in our sessions. But Jake, maybe we can do a quick recap
Right.
about project-based learning that we learned last week. I mean, as you were implementing it in
Right.
your own high school and your own experience, um, is project-based learning something that is really interesting and useful? And and how do we, in a nutshell, kind of get students into this program, and probably even institutions, to try this project-based learning method out?
Yes, Roy. As we gathered from our speakers and even from our audience last week, Roy, we found out, that project-based learning helps make uh, the education of students more relevant because through PBL, they're answering questions that solve real world problems. So you
Mm,
bring that whole experience, that context into the classroom, and the students find that they have agency to actually use their projects, use the outputs that they do in school to solve these problems. And we heard from the speakers how it has increased student engagement, how it has helped students take greater ownership of their learning, and how it has simply become not just memorable but truly meaningful for all students who go through a PBL approach. So it's definitely one of the best ways, to deliver a curriculum, Roy. And we did also empower our teachers last time to to consider the benefits of implementing PBL in their classrooms and in their schools.
yeah, absolutely agree with you. It's like it's another way of delivering the lesson and trying to get the students more involved and more, more connected to the subject matter. I mean, oftentimes if it's, let's say, based from the teacher, they just, provide the syllabus and just, present the whole topic. But then if we contextualize it in the situation of the community, then the students now
Mm.
have to start thinking, how does this really apply to me? So the project-based approach is really more engaging, and there are many tools we can use. We had, some people using, let's say, in the face-to-face classroom. Let's say they bring in materials and all those
Mm.
things. But here in this instance, we'll try to see what kind of other online tools we can use to implement project-based learning. So, Jake, thank you for those words of encouragement on this topic. I'll call you back later in the Q&A so that we can discuss more. All right. Thank you, Jake.
Absolutely. See you later, Roy.
Thank you. All right. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce our guest speaker today. And she is actually based out of the UK at the moment. Um, so, she is actually the community manager for Wakelet. And as part of the community team at Wakelet, she works with educators and coaches from all around the world to support their learning communities in getting the most out of the Wakelet product. So I'm just going to ask her a little bit more later when I introduce her. So I'd like to bring onto the stage Amy Kyle. Amy, glad to have you.
Hi, Roy. Thank you so much for having me. It's fantastic to be here. And hi, everyone. It's so wonderful to see so many of you from all over, from the Philippines, from Indonesia. We have such a fantastic community in the Philippines and Indonesia and Tunisia as well. So it's great to see you from all over as well. But yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being able to, make time for us and join us on the program today. I also want to say hello to our friends from India. We have some people joining us from India as well, and from Cagayan de Oro and Davao Occidental in the Philippines. We also have some friends from Bhutan. So thank you so much for joining us. Really, global audience and educator community. Exactly what Acadasia is all about: bringing educators together and we learning from each other through sessions like this. So fantastic. Amy, maybe you could share a little bit about yourself. I know you're really involved in Wakelet, but maybe you can share a bit about, what were you kind of doing before this? Did you have educator experience, or how did you come about joining the Wakelet team?
Of course, yeah. So I've actually been at Wakelet for 2 years now. Prior to that, I was in recruitment for education, and I spoke to our founder. I found out about Wakelet, and I loved what he was doing with the platform, and how educators were receiving it. I wanted to be a part of the team, and particularly the community team. We have a global community who are so creative, so innovative, and I very much wanted to be a part of that movement. So I love working on the community team. I get to speak to fantastic people every day from all corners of the world, and hearing, not only what they're doing within their own communities, but what they're doing to help and support each other, other educators, other students, is what I love most about working on the Wakelet team. But yes, I've been here 2 years now. I get to do fantastic sessions like this, and jump on and share lots about Wakelet, but also just about community and the importance of having that support from each other, but through networking and through doing your professional development and doing training sessions like these as well. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
That's fantastic, Amy. And even here in Acadasia community, so if you joined Wakelet probably 2 years ago, around 2 years ago, around this time, the huge challenges that the entire world had to experience with the pandemic and having to not, go to campus, go to school, and really just adjust to this new way of doing work or learning as well. And, we're very proud to say that even in Acadasia, this community that we have here, we were quite resilient. And I'm very proud of all the teachers that have been very much involved from day one in joining our training programs, even virtually, and really adjusting their teaching styles. Even though it was difficult in the beginning, trying to discover and learn about, okay, these things I used to be able to do in the classroom, how can I kind of simulate it or kind of get as close enough an experience of it online, even if we're just doing video or asynchronous courses or even just cool tools and techniques that we can do on the online setting. So it was a real change, but I'm very proud that these educators with us today met the challenge. And here again, they're learning something new with Wakelet again this time around. So really cool to have you with us. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of everything, maybe a little bit on the side. I mean, what do you like to do for fun? Just that kind of chill out and relax while while you're over there. Share a little something about the UK, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, well, we've actually got, I spoke to you earlier and it was a little bit rainy, but it is a bit of sunshine now. So I live in I live in the city in Manchester, but I kind of get the best of both worlds, because if I go a little bit further that way, I've got mountains and hills and greenery. So I do love going for walks and taking our dog out, because we've got a dog, and taking her for big long walks. And then I have the city side on the other side, where it's always fun to do the activities and things in the city. Lots going on in Manchester, so there's never a dull moment. But I actually moved to Manchester about 10 years ago for university. Prior to that, I was living down south near London, where I've got family still there. So I do visit there quite often as well. Lots of different things. I love cooking. You'll see when you go later. You'll see all my recipe collections, because I do like putting my recipe collections on there. I can't say I'm the best cook, but I do enjoy it. I love discovering things. And a bit of reading as well. But yeah, that's me.
Okay, that's really cool, Amy. So you like dogs, and we'll probably see some of your recipes also. Interestingly enough, on probably will you be showing this on Wakelet as well. So that's really cool. All right. So again, for our dear audience, so if you have any questions, please reserve them. You can type them in the chat, or we'll be flashing our Mentimeter links. So please click on those Mentimeter links if you have any questions at any time during the session. And towards the end, after Amy kind of shares with us the hour of Wakelet, we can do a short question and answer portion. I'll bring Jake back in, and we can kind of process everything and see how we can use it for more project-based learning. Okay, so all right, so stick around, guys. Everybody here, I'll turn it over to Amy. Please take it away.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so I'm excited to give you all a bit of an introduction to Wakelet and what the platform does and what then you can do to use it and apply it to project-based learning. So Wakelet is a content curation platform. We allow you to consolidate all of your resources from all across the web into one place. And the key point here is we make it really visual as well. So I'm going to jump on, share my screen here, and you'll see what Wakelet looks like. You should all see that now. Yes, lovely. Thank you so much. So this is your home area. So when you log into Wakelet, so you can do that a few ways. We've got single sign-on options with Google, with Microsoft, I think even Facebook as well. So you can use a few options there to sign up. If you go to wakelet.com, it is free to do. So everything I show you here is free. It's part of the free features with Wakelet. A lot of this it's unlimited as well. You can have as many of these collections as you like. You can have as many links saved down as you like. So if you haven't done so already, you can go to wakelet.com and it's really simple to sign up, and then you'll be greeted with a page that looks a little bit like this. So this is your home area. This is your library full of collections. And when I say collections, they look something like this. So this is a collection here, and this just demonstrates the kind of all the different links that you can put in there. So as you can see, you can put a background in there. You can put a cover image as well. It kind of resembles a little bit around social media. So it's a lot more appealing and engaging for your students as well. It allows you to put a title and a bit of a description in there as well. And as you can see, you can have all kinds of links from all different platforms. So you can have YouTube links. They will play within, and they'll actually remove the ads in there as well. You can have flip videos in there that you've created. You can have Canva infographics. You can put your Mote audio links. So all of these tools that you might already be using, you're able to then combine these together. And what this does, particularly for your students, is make them really interactive. A lot of these are embedded, so you don't have to jump out anywhere else. You can actually interact with them whilst you're in Wakelet as well. You can put in your slides, your docs from others. So again, depending on what you're using, you can interact and have your students do the same with these as well. So I'm going to show you how you can actually set up a collection just like this one. But I just wanted to highlight all of the different tools. I mean, there's lots more. We always say kind of anything with a URL with a link you can add into a Wakelet collection. But like I said, this is your user area. This is your user library. And what you can do in those is you can create private collections. So by default, they are private. But if you want to then share them out, you can make them unlisted. Or if you want to make them public, they can appear on your public profile. Now, to access this, you can go to your public profile here. And what this profile allows you to do is actually kind of share out multiple collections at once. So I mentioned earlier, I have some recipe ones on here, but this almost builds like a microsite for your collections and almost like a web page. So you can use this as almost like a portfolio, or you could use this as a kind of resource hub for your students, your teachers, or just to share, multiple resources at once. So with that link, I can then share out all of these individual collections that I've created, but with one link. So rather than just sending out one link of one collection, I can then send out multiple. But these are just where my public collections are. So if I ever want to jump back, these are where my library of private, unlisted, or public live as well. And this is also where I'm going to go to create my first collection. So I'm going to create a collection just here. Like I said, it gives you kind of a blank canvas. So this is very much what you want to create. So if you are creating a kind of lesson plan for a PBL lesson that you're doing for your students, it's a great way to put a little bit of a description in so that your students know what it's going to be about. So the description can also be used to deliver a bit of instruction as well. I could say, please use the resources below to help in your PBL. project, something like that. So you can put together your resources, but you can use that description as a little bit of instructional as well. As you can see, it's still not looking as fabulous as you'd want it to look. So you can go to this little icon just here, and we do have different layouts depending on what you want to create. The media layout, like what you saw with that collection before, is kind of that step-by-step way of delivering content. That is really good for lesson plans, really good for delivering instructional pieces. But we also have column layout, which I've got an example of later that I'll show you. And that's really nice for sectioning off instructions as well. But we've got compact, grid view, or mood board. So you can have a play around with them, and you can change them at any time as well. You've also got the option to choose a cover image. So you can do that one of 4 ways. So if you have an image that you want to upload, you can do. You can design it with Canva if you're using Canva. You can even use a GIF or Unsplash as well. Unsplash is, these are all copyright-free images that you can search through the library, and that will pull through all these images that then you can use. And you can make it sort of big or smaller if you want to as well. Same with the background image. You've got 2 options on this one. Sometimes I like to just do a color, and then I can put a color in the background just like that. But it's entirely up to you. But again, you're just making it a lot more visual and delivering more instruction in the way you make that and visualize it as well. So I'll pop that to the side. And then in terms of actually building up content, actually adding content to your collection, it's super easy to do. So you've got this little bar here, and that's where you can literally copy and paste any kind of web address that you want to as well. So I've got a few links just as an examples up here. So I've got BBC article just here. And what I'm going to do is grab that link and simply paste it in. Now, what that's going to do is not only pull through the link, but it pulls through the title, the description, and the image there as well, even the source and where that's come from. So this is really great for research projects or noting where your actual research has come from as well. Or if you're sharing this with students, maybe verifying some resources that they're able to use, then it's a great way to be able to vet that they've used it from the correct place. What you can also do as well is you can edit a few of the bits of this information as well. So if you don't like the image it's pulled through, you can change that. So you can change that to something more fitting if you wanted to. So I can pop that in here and put a different image in there. I can deliver a little bit more instruction if I wanted to, so I can change the text on here, or even deliver a little bit of instruction on this piece here as well. So I can very much make that to how I want it to appear. Again, just to make it even more contextualized for your students. I've also got a tweet just here as well, so I can grab the link from here and pop that into my collection as well. And a lot of these will appear similar to how they would on the original site. So it gives her a really nice multimedia look on the page, makes it more interesting and engaging for your students. Another thing, just a little top tip as well, if you haven't done so already, or if you're not familiar with Wakelet, another little add-on as well to allow you to make it easier to add down content is you don't actually have to have Wakelet open if you're just saving down. Maybe you're doing research for a particular project that you're wanting to do with your students. What you can do is we actually have a browser extension tool. And if you pin that to the top here, all you need to do is when you find an article that you want, you can click that W and then you can save it down to any of your collections. So this is really handy for building up those resources if you want to. So it's a nice little bookmarking tool and you can just download the extension, again, free. And it's a great way to start building up those resources for your students. So I just wanted to touch on that one whilst we were there as well. And then just moving along to these just here, you can add text. So again, you can add a little bit more instruction if you wanted to just in here. So if I grab some just here, it really helps to divide up the context as well. You can even hyperlink bits of text if you wanted to. If you didn't want the whole item in your collection, you can just highlight that bit there. But again, it just breaks it up a little bit. You can have images. So if you have any kind of infographics saved down, you can do so there. There we go. And you can save down infographics that you already have created, because that's what Wakelet allows you to do. Combine all of those resources that you may already have, but put them together in one visual way and deliver them really engagingly to your students. You've got bookmarks, so anything that you've saved previously, you can save down PDFs. And of course, we've got all of these integrations as well. So if you're searching for tweets, if you're wanting to add down tweets, you can do. If you want to record a flip video and pop that in, again, that's really fun for projects to deliver some instruction to your students. Maybe they want to refer back to it later, or maybe even have your students record their feedback or their findings if they've done something, and they want to record what they found or how they found the project. They can do their flip video there. You can search on YouTube as well, so this is great. So if you have a particular topic, you can search through those there and just simply grab those and put them into your collection again. And then you'll be able to save those down. But even Google Drive, OneDrive, or Adobe Express documents, anything that you've got saved down in those already, you can combine and bring those all together. And then once you're happy to then share that out, you can do so here. You just need to allow the sharing just there and grab that link and you'll be able to share it. So with that as well, you can share into classrooms, teams, or even embed it. And I know Anina's going to jump on a little later to show you how you can actually embed it into the Acadasia platform as well. So we'll go through that a little bit later on, but it makes it super easy to then engage with this collection whilst you're in that platform as well. So again, you can combine it with those that you're using. You can also collaborate. So this will come in really handy, particularly if you're asking your students to submit some work, maybe. So if you're doing a project that you've done with your students and you've asked them to complete something, maybe it's not digitally. So maybe they've had to take a photo of what they've created or showcase it in another way. You can invite them to actually add to your collection to submit the work that they've done. And then you'll be able to see it onto one. They don't need to set up an account to do this. You can have them set up with a student account, which is a separate feature, but you can just simply ask them to collaborate, join that link, and then they can add into that collection as well. You can always at any time reset that link and code as well. So if you've done it as like there's a deadline onto it, you can reset that link and code once that deadline's been met as well. So that is a really basic overview of how you can start creating a collection. If you do want to publish it to your profile, of course, you can just simply click that toggle on as well. But that allows you to then publish it, and then that will be accessible by all. But if you're just wanting to share this with students or with teachers, they're able to access it there. So what I've done is I will share this with you. It's got a little bit of an introduction on here. It's got a great collection in there, which will show you how to get started. Again, just gives you an overview of how to get set up. So if you're looking to do that after the session, you can do. And also a little bit about some of the certifications and programs we do. But like I said and highlighted already, it works with a lot of your favorite tools. So again, there is no restrictions then to what your students can do. If they're wanting to complete or showcase the work they've done on Adobe or on Canva or through mote recording or through a flip video, they can still use those, but still then allow you to put it all in one place and display it in whatever way you want to. But just a few examples in here as well, just so you can, get the idea of what Wakelet can do. This example is of almost like a kind of resource hub. So these are all individual collections. And like I showed you before, if you wanted to publish those and make them into a one-stop shop of all of your resources, you can do so with that link. And then you've got all of these collections in one. So within each of these, you could have these as projects, units, modules, and then you've got all the resources for each of those that you've curated for them, that you've vetted, and you're happy for your students to use there. It's great for newsletters as well, delivering content across to your students or across to even parents back at home. Again, you can record a video, give the learning goals and structure as to what the week's going to hold. It's got the Microsoft Immersive Reader tool built in as well. So if you're sharing that with anyone who speaks another language or has any visual impairments, they can access it as well, and that will read aloud for them if they want it to. But again, it allows you to break down all of this content and share it really easily out for your students. You can either set assignments and things like that. So this will come really handy, I think, if you are doing some project-based learning, particularly if you're doing it as a kind of lesson plan and you're wanting to deliver the instruction, because Of course, you want them to be creative, but you also want your students to have a little bit of guidance with it as well, so they know what they need to do. So something like this is a great way to then separate it and deliver that instruction. So you've got collection here, you've got the learning goals and what you want them to accomplish on it, out of it. You've got some resources and things that that will help them as they're doing it. A bit of a book study and what they need to do with that, and a bit of a reflection board as well. But what I love about this is that Tisha here has given her students the choice of what they want to do. So yes, they need to do the quiz, and they need to record their personality types, but they can do that in one of two ways. So they can do that through a flip link, or they can create a graphic. So maybe your students aren't too comfortable doing a recording or something like that. Maybe they want to be creative, with a Bunty, with a Canva. What they can do is then you can give them that student choice to be able to decide what they want to then put their feedback and reflection points on, and then they can submit it. So what you can then have them do is actually submit that into one collection, a little bit like this one. You've got the graphics in here of all of these different students who have then submitted the work that they've done there. So again, you've got it all in one place, but the students were able to choose how best they wanted to reflect on their findings there as well. So I think that's really important, especially if you're doing PBL or anything like that, that you give your students the opportunity to reflect and think about what they have learned during that process as well. And it's a great way for them to be able to do that with Wakelet. So I've got a few other resources in that I can share with you. And like I said, you'll have this collection here, a few other ways to use it. But I've got some examples of how students are using it, particularly in projects that they've done. There's a few examples and templates in there as well. So if you want to check those out later, you can do, especially if you're not quite sure on where to start. These are great for getting started on those. So maybe you're not sure of where to start with a lesson plan. We've got loads here that you can grab. And all you need to do is simply go to the lesson plan here, go to this little cobble here and copy a collection there. So if you copy that down, you'll have your own version of it. So you'll be able to then make changes to it and make that your own as well. So again, this kind of gives you the structure and gives you a few points to get you started. But if I continue here, we do have student accounts. There's also a little bit of a how-to on setting those up. And if you want to set up your students with accounts, they can have a secure account through either Microsoft, Google Classroom, or Clever, and they'll be able to actually create projects or even document all of their resources in one place, and you'll have complete overview of those as well. So if anyone is looking for a little bit more information about that, please do let me know. But there is a little bit of a one-pager, step-by-step how you can do that as well in there that you can check out. But I just brought a few specific examples of how you can use it, particularly for project-based learning. So one really easy way is if you're delivering instruction, particularly to other teachers. Maybe you found certain ways that it's working for you and your students, and you want to share those with other teachers, or even especially if you're trying to roll out this initiative across to the other teachers in your schools, in your districts, then this is a great way to showcase and share the resources that you found. So, and even some examples as well, because it might be a case that teachers just aren't too sure of how to get started. So this is a great little resource hub here of different projects that have been done, use cases and studies for PBL, and showcasing the benefits that have been found with doing them, along with Google Documents and different articles here that will help them get started. So again, there's a few resources on creating a collaborative environment here as well, infographics in there. So again, this is all in a Wakelet collection and makes it easy to share out with teachers. They don't need to have an account to view this, I should have said. So if you are sharing that link out with them, then they don't need to sign up to be able to access this. They can just access all of the content that you put that down for them. And then you'll be able to access all of these great resources that you've curated for them. So it's a great way to deliver different content and resources to your teachers as well. So this is a nice way to combine all of the all of the findings that you are doing around PBL, and then how you can share them out as well. So all of the webinars that you've been attending as part of this series, start curating all of the resources that you found, and then you can share those out with your teachers as well. So that's a great example there of just simply combining all of the resources you found just to help and support other educators doing the same. Now, this is actually a template that has been created by one of our ambassadors, Chris Bruno here, and she created this for a research project that she did for her students. And this is why I wanted to showcase something with a different layout. So this is actually done with our columns layout. And this is a great way for your students to kind of record their findings, like I said, as they are going through the project. So as you can see, she's done a column for kind of each piece that she wants her students to sort of think about as they did. So online resources that they found, so they can put those all in here. So in this column, she's given a bit of instruction, and you could do this. You could create a template like this, and your students just have to replace the content with their own content. Or you could use this one, or even just have a bit of inspiration here. So online resources that they've found, anything, if it is a research project that they've been able to locate online, you want to be able to vet and make sure it's not any sort of wiki pages and things like that. So you want to make sure that they've done the research properly. Books that they've used, so any books that they've used, they can add some graphics of the books if they can't find the actual online one of it. Photos and illustrations, things like that. So anything they've gathered, infographics or anything like that, that's helped them form the research that they have. This is a great one. Things I wondered about and my writing path. So what did all of this research then make me question? What did it make me think about? What did it make me want to know more about? So again, anything that they've created or part of that thought process, they can then record and document on here as well. So this is a research writing path, but that they've created. They've also created a reflection piece in Flip as well. So they've done a Flip video here, and they've documented their findings on that way as well. And then this last column is final product. So what their report was. So again, they've got their research template report. This is a template one, but then they submit their actual report here, and even maybe even maybe a sorry about that. Even maybe a book creator or a Flip or whatever the feedback. So again, you've got that choice. Whatever your students then want to have their reflection piece in, they're able to then add that in there as well. So there's a few ways in which then they can, divvy that up, but also showcase and share what they have learned through doing that project, and all of their findings as well. So again, that's just a bit of a template. And like I said, if you want to make a copy of that, you can. Chris is happy for you to do so. She's made that copyable, so you'll be able to copy that collection if you want to there as well. So that's a great example of, like I said, using Wakelet to section it off and guide your students as to how you would like them to sort of work through a project and what you would like them to think about, because that could be any question. If it's not a research project, it could be about the activity you're giving, and at what stage do you want them to start reflecting and thinking about different parts, and thinking about different questions. So you could have a certain question, what topic are you going to look into, and then why are you going, just certain ones, and have a column for each there. So there's lots of different ways that then you could apply and use that. It's a great way to also, again, you don't want to, sway them too much and things like that. You want them to be able to be creative, but you also want to make sure they've got the right tools to be able to do that as well. So this is another great example of using the column layout to give some instruction for your students. So this is around a media project, and what the teacher wanted to do is just make sure that they had all the resources to licensed music and sound and images as well. So she's kind of done that legwork for them purely because she wants them to get the most out of the project. And so she knows of the resources that they're allowed to use. So what she's done here is she's again put different columns here just to showcase the images and the platforms that they can use safely. And they can use without having to worry about copyright issues or anything like that. So again, it gives them that instruction, but also make sure that they know that that is relevant and that is something they have to think about as part of this project. So again, text generators and things like that. Also got music and sound effects, so things that they can use within their project. Videos that they could use, video making tools as well, and what kind of things that they can use, and even examples as well of how they could create that as well. So again, if you are doing something project-based and you want to, again, just give them a little bit of a helping hand with resources, guide them, and make sure that they have everything they need to then be able to go off and be creative and be able to do that project to the best of their ability as well. So that's a great way to be able to share that out. This is a lovely one to highlight a student project or number of students and how you can then gather all of that information. So even if your project is not done digitally, maybe it's done using cardboard and string and things like that, you can still use Wakelet to then showcase and create almost like a portfolio of what has been created there. So this is around collaboration, problem solving, communication, creativity. And what the teacher has done is they have, I believe they're still virtual as well, and they have been doing these musical instruments. And so what they've done is then taken photos with their musical instruments and then uploaded and showcased them on here. And then the great thing about this is not only can you have them all in one place and you can see what the students have created, but the students are also able to see what each other has created as well. So it creates that kind of environment where you can showcase and tell your peers about what you have created as well. Some of these have got a bit of inspiration in there as well, but they've also included a little bit of feedback. So with these pieces of text, some of the students have put a little bit of text about how they found the project as well. But as you can see, lots of examples, and this is just a really nice, fun way. And you can share this out with parents as well. You can showcase what the students have been up to and what they have created. So a really simple way. And like I said, just with that collaboration tool. So if I wanted to do that, I could simply create a collection like this, or just a blank collection, and send that link to my students, and then they can submit those images of whatever they have created, and then they can curate that all together, and then you've got a one-stop shop for all of those fantastic projects that you have. Same or similar here with an Earth Day project, again, that Chris did. This is a one way of sharing out all of the different submissions and having that again in one place for you to be able to share out. It's not playing ball now. Don't give up on me now, internet. Yeah, having it all in one place like this one. So again, exploring symmetry in nature on Earth Day. Add a picture of your mandala when you have finished. So again, this is all student work submitted. There are a few resources, and then initially she delivered some instructions so her students knew what to do. So this is the assignment. This is an infographic saying gather the items outside, think about the symmetry, and then place them in a meaningful way. And then you've got add to Wakelet as well. So there are a few examples. So you could really build the entire project here. A few examples, a few helpful videos, even a question here, something to think about. And then they've been able to add in their own work there as well. And again, it just creates one place that they can then look and review all of the work that they've done, take a look and do feedback. It's also great for student collaborative projects. So this is more of a research project again. However, this is where 4 students have worked together on a presentation, and what they've been able to do is input their own ideas, input what their findings have been, and then use this actually to actually present in front of the class as well. They've done some YouTube videos, again, of their findings when they were actually out in the field doing some research, They've got text obviously and images to break it up. But they've also had to think about solutions and what they would do. And they've got some videos in here. And they've been able to say the work that's cited as well. So everything that they have gathered and all of the links and everything like that is all then vetted and cited in this collection. So it's a really nice way for your students to then work together and create something all together, because if you set up a collaborative collection, they can all jump on, or if you set them up with their own account, they can work on these together as well and actually use this to all input onto one collection, make it really visual, and then use that to present as well. So those are just a few ideas of ways that you can use that in different projects. Hopefully from that, you've got a few inspiration and ideas yourself, ways that you can build it into your own curriculum and basically present and share that on Wakelet. But like I said, the main thing with Wakelet is that it is really visual. You're wanting to engage your students, you're wanting them to get excited about the project. So it allows you to very much make it your own while still being very helpful and instructional as well for your students. I've put in a few resources here as well. Chris did a session with a few of our ambassadors during our community week around sort of projects, using Wakelet with projects there. So you'll see some of those examples that I shared along with others. So if you wanted a bit more inspiration, you can have a look into that Wakelet collection there, because there's some examples. And then I also wanted to just highlight this. It is more around building portfolios, but Abby is actually one of our student ambassadors from the Philippines, and she has created or used Wakelet to create and build a portfolio. So eventually, when you have your students using Wakelet, they can actually go a step further and start documenting all of their findings, all of their development through different classes, through different projects that they've done, and build something like this that then they can use to then showcase their school journey and even use for college applications and things like that. So as you can see, this is more of a portfolio for sort of applications, as I mentioned, but it allows your students to be a bit creative. So there's an About Me collection just there. They're also able to document their scholastic attainments and any extracurricular hobbies that they do. They can also do their schoolwork in here as well. So any digital designs, Abby is fantastic at doing these graphics here. She's really into her design and graphics. So again, showcasing all of the different tools she's been able to use and all of the work that she's done there as well. This is also a really great way if you are delivering a project for your PBL. You can have your students actually document their journey and document how they found the project. So maybe it is a more creative one and it started off as one thing and like led to another. But again, it's a really nice way to show that journey, to show that structure and how it developed over some time as well. So eventually your students can have something like this that then they build up. They've got all your presentations in there, book recommendations. So you can have a little bit of fun, really put some personality into it. Like I said, these are like school portfolios. So you've got the cooking one just here. And again, these are like mini tasks that she's done. So kitchen showcase and been able to put some infographics and what she's needed for those. Recordings of how then she's actually carried it out, an evaluation form as well. So again, in a Wakelet collection, she's then done this and put her evaluation form in there. She's done a soup dish and again, documented all of the ones that she's done in here. So this is showing her development over time, over a different subject as well. So there's loads of ways in which your students can use Wakelet to then document not only their own findings, but then their journey as well through it. And that kind of leads me on because Abby kind of was introduced to Wakelet through doing the student ambassador program. So we do have an ambassador program, which is fantastic for students. It exercises and celebrates those 6 C's. So again, it's a great way for your students to get started on Wakelet if they want to. There is a task based on each of them, each of the 6 C's, and they're able then to use Wakelet for projects, but also for developing and improving their digital skills as well. So I've put all of these links in here. We, like I said before, I work on the community team. So we have a community of educators who are using Wakelet. A lot of the ideas, all of the ideas that I shared with you were from educators who are using Wakelet in their classroom. So it's a great way to get a little bit of inspiration and be inspired there. And if you ever have any questions, I know we're going to jump to some questions now, but any questions after the session, please do feel free to reach out. You can follow me on Twitter there, or Wakelet there as well. And then you can reach out on community@wakelet.com. But like I said, I should be sharing this out in the comments there, this collection, and you'll have access to all of these so you can have a little look through in your own time after as well. But I'm going to jump back, and I believe we're going to see if there's some questions at all. But I hope that was all good. I'm hoping there's some questions for me.
Hi, Amy. Thanks again for that. That was a wonderful presentation. I thought that was really amazing that you could, basically group a lot of these contents that usually you would get from various sources. So you had, let's say, Wikipedia, Twitter, YouTube, and all these other online tools. What I liked about Wakelet was you kind of were able to, as you say, build them into visual collections.
Yeah.
Then you can just find everything in one place. And that totally aligns with Acadasia, what we want to do. As we also in Acadasia are in the process of incorporating a lot of tools. So we also have incorporated Canva and these other things. So we're very happy to have Wakelet as well as another tool that some of our Acadasia members can also use in their own teaching practice. This is really very interesting to me. And it really shows how you can use online tools to implement PBL quite effectively. So that was really great. Thanks for that, Amy. Maybe I can bring in Nina first so that she can demonstrate to us, because we actually have been able to embed Wakelet collections into the Acadasia platform. So Nina, can I invite you to join the stream so that we can actually show our community? Hi, that's Nina. She's part of our knowledge team here at Acadasia.
Hello,
Nina,
everyone.
yeah, can you please show our audience how we were able to include a Wakelet collection in Acadasia platform?
Okay, let me just share my screen. There,
And
could
then
you
right
please
after this,
confirm? Can you see my screen right now?
yes, we can see it right now.
Okay. So, for embedding Wakelet in the Acadasia platform, you actually have two ways. So, first, if for example, you just want to create or start creating your course and you want to include a Wakelet collection in your course, so you could just start by clicking Design Ed, and then you will be directed to this course builder page. And the all you have to do is just fill in the necessary details, and the embedding of the Wakelet collection will be on this part here, the course builder. So assuming that you already have completed the necessary details on the other parts, so for example, the accompanying course of this webinar today, and then I want to add the Wakelet resources that Amy shared with us earlier in the course itself. So I'll just go to course builder. I've already completed the rest. So here I want to add, instead of just the YouTube stream, I want to add the Wakelet resources as well. So for this topic, this is lesson 1, which is watch, and then topic 1, YouTube stream. I want to rename it into YouTube stream and Wakelet resources. So Wakelet resources, and then just save that topic. And you could see under that topic, I already have the YouTube stream here, and I want to add the Wakelet collection. So what I'll do is just click here. We have here so many choices to add. So we have here the content button. So just click that content button and then enter the content name. So here I want to name it as Wakelet resources. And on the content text box, just click the insert button here, and then we have insert media. So insert media. And you will be asked for an embed code. So earlier, Amy showed us the Wakelet collection that she created. So I want to share that with all of you on the course. So just click share. So assuming you've already created your Wakelet collection as well. So click share, and then we have here the embed button or embed icon. So just click that. And then you actually have many different choices to customize your Wakelet collection. So how you want it to look like. And then if you're happy with all those settings, all you have to do is go downwards and then just copy the embed code. So copying the embed code, let's go back to this page here, the insert media, and then embed, just paste it. So Control B. And then click save. So once it's saved, you will see that there's a really small window here. And you, of course, you want to resize it. So let's resize it for it to be more visible. And let's see. You want it to show all the parts of your page. So just
Yeah,
there.
it's really amazing what you can do with technology, right?
And then just click save content.
Fantastic.
So save content, and then once it's saved, of course, if you want to preview that, so you will see that here. So course preview, I added it in the first topic of lesson 1, right? So YouTube stream and Wakelet resources. So instead of just showing the YouTube stream that we have right now, it also includes the Wakelet resources that Amy shared with us earlier. So that is, we added it inside a specific topic already. But what if you want to add it as a separate topic altogether? So, for example, here I have a separate lesson. So I already have a sample lesson here, and I have many different topics. I want it to be a separate topic, unlike earlier that I just added it to an existing topic. So what I'll do is just I'll click topic here at the bottom, and then just type in the same thing. So Wakelet resources. So you'll basically just do the same thing. So insert and then media and then embed and then paste the embed code that you got from your Wakelet collection. And then, of course, resize. Of course, if you already know the correct sizing, you could actually just manually input it instead of dragging the window here.
Yeah,
And
I
then
think
if
it's a great way to present the content, right? When you view it. Yeah, go ahead,
yes,
Nina.
so here, the difference from earlier is that the Wakelet resources is on a separate topic itself. So it stands
Mm,
alone. So
okay, okay.
earlier, the one I showed you is that I just added it on a topic that's already existing. Here, I created a separate topic altogether.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you so much, Nina. And it's really cool because I'm pretty excited for our teachers to try out some of those Wakelet tools. Maybe they can embed it and we can. And I really liked, Amy, when you were showing all these ways that they can organize by columns or grids or other layouts and just insert all these kinds of content and make it really interactive. So,
Yeah.
really cool, really amazing. We've shared all those resources with you. I'm going to bring back Jake in now to join the stream just to give us some, a little bit of comments in the Q&A because we have a lot of questions in the chat. I guess the first one, I guess, is for Amy, and then the second one I can ask the entire panel here. So, Amy, they're asking, is Wakelet free, or what are the levels that they can use the Wakelet for?
Yeah, fantastic. Great question. So everything I showed you there was absolutely free. You can have as many collections as you like, save down as many links. You can use the collaboration feature, share functionality, even the student classroom feature. We do have a paid district plan. So that helps more with sort of rostering and importing student accounts across entire schools and districts. And we also offer help with analytics and things like that to make sure your students are getting the most out of it. However, that's the paid side, but everything I showed you is free, and you'll always be able to create collections as many as you like. There's no limits to how many you can create there, and how many links and things that you can save down. So yes, we do have a paid plan, but the sort of core functionality there is free.
Okay, that's great. So when they start embedding, I guess, these activities in Acadasia, they can actually use at least the free portions then. And then if they want to go, full district or the entire school, then that's another
Exactly.
discussion they can have with you. Fantastic.
Yeah. For
Okay,
the
so
individual, it's free.
right. So and then for the group, I guess the panel discussion is this applicable really for preschoolers or elementary students? Because I think, Amy, a lot of the activities you're showing were, I guess, at least minimum high school and up, right? But I guess the question here is it possible to use these tools, I guess, for preschoolers and elementary students in the PBL setting? Can we use it this way?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the examples I showed of Chris Bruno's with the B project and things like that, those were fourth grade students. We have a number of ambassadors who actually use it in kindergarten up to second grade. And because it is so simple to use, especially with that collaboration link, they can simply join the link and upload what you want them to, or because it's so visual, it's just a case of them working through and going and clicking into the links there as well. So no, it's very much applicable to all ages, and there's certainly lots of examples out there for lots of different age students there as well.
Great, Amy. Jake, from the examples you saw there, can you kind of point out some very interesting PBL applications that you kind of noticed from the demonstration today?
Oh yeah, Roy. I love the way the Filipino student used it as her portfolio in a PBL unit where you group students into teams. You can actually do that as well. So what you can do is you can track the progress of the group by checking their Wakelet portfolio.
Yeah.
Right. So there you can see the progress of the team. Depending, of course, on the instructions that you give. Maybe on a regular basis, there are expected outputs that they're supposed to be posting on Wakelet. And then from the point of view of the teacher, you're able to see in one page, right, all the work that's been done by the group. And in a PBL unit, that's very, very helpful because instead of going through different folders or going through individual submissions of the group, of the group members, you can all see them on one page or on one view, and that's most helpful for a PBL approach.
Yeah, that's a great observation. I noticed like it reminds me of the early days of the internet where you had blogs, right? So it's just like you have one blog and then you just post and put everything that's related to that topic, and then anyone who comes over there can check it or they can add to it. So really cool, really nice feature. One more question here for Amy this time. Is Wakelet also available on mobile, Amy? On mobile app?
Yes. Yeah, we've got the Android and the iOS app, and you can also get it on iPads and other devices. So yeah, it's cross devices. Yeah, you can get it on those apps there as well.
Okay, fantastic. That's great. Okay, so also available on mobile, really cool collections. We've run a little bit over time because this topic has been really interesting. But I guess before we kind of, do our housekeeping and last minute sessions, I'd like to kind of, ask for the final thoughts, I guess. If let's start, I guess, in the reverse order. I'd like to start with Nina and then Jake and finally Amy. Final thoughts on PBL and using Wakelet for this. And then after that, I can show people how you can earn your CPD points for this session today. So, Nina, any final thoughts on the Wakelet demo today?
Actually, this is the first time that I encountered Wakelet, and I really appreciate how you could curate a lot of content on it. And for a student standpoint, if they could see similar content curated into one specific collection, it would be easier for them to understand what they are asked to do, what they are expected to do, or what they need to know about specific projects that they are given by their teachers. So thank you very
Absolutely.
much, Amy.
Excellent. Thank you. Jake, your final thoughts on our PBL demonstration with Wakelet today?
Yeah, maybe Roy, I'll also put the hat of a parent here for schools or teachers who implement PBL or who curate resources quite well. You know, as a parent, it will be very helpful for me to see how everything is neatly organized, carefully selected, like critically included in the list, in the collection of what a child, whatever level he or she is in, needs to go through to complete a course, or needs to go to finish a PBL unit. Rather than again having to look at different sources and see different websites or apps that students are led to. As a parent, I really appreciate it so much when everything is just presented the way Wakelet does. So thanks Amy for your sharing, and we do invite all the teachers who are with us today, to give a Wakelet a shot, right? And then it will really enhance the teaching learning experience there.
Okay, thanks, Jake. How about you, Amy? Any final thoughts?
Well, thank you all so much for having me. It's been fantastic to speak to everyone here. And Nina, Jake, I think you both touched on both those points and how it can be used with PBL there as well. I think the delivering instruction part, like I said before, you want your students to have that creativity and be able to discover the best ways to learn and then provide those feedback points. But you also want to be able to deliver that instruction as well. Make sure that they've got everything there for them to work through at their own pace then as well. So yeah, it's been fantastic to be able to share Wakelet with you all, and I'd love to know how you guys get on as well. So please let us know. It was fantastic seeing how Wakelet and Acadasia work so well with each other as well. It's always fantastic to see, because there are so many fantastic tools out there, and so being able to combine them all in one place is great. So yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity to share with the community here. And yeah, as always, any questions, please do reach out.
Absolutely. Thanks, Amy. And I'll answer your question, how we can, continue possibly this partnership with you. I noticed in the chat, you have a couple of Wakelet ambassadors there. There's Tristan and a couple of people
Tristan,
from
yes. Hi, Tristan.
Hello. Yeah. Nice to see our friends also in Wakelet. And I would like to invite all the Wakelet ambassadors and all our friends here also. How can you, let's say, join, get the course that accompanies our session today for your CPD points? So as for our friends, especially in the Philippines, this session with the webinar is accompanied by a course on acadasia.com. So if you have not created a account yet, you can create one at www.acadasia.com, Acadasia, Acad with a K, and then you can sign in. Or if you have not signed in, just make sure that when you sign up, you create a teacher account, okay? Because by creating a teacher account, you'll have access to all these tools, including Design Ed, Skill Ed, and Collab Ed. So I want to invite the Wakelet community. There's a question in the chat. They're asking, where's the community here for Wakelet? So since we featured here, we'd be very much happy to have Wakelet. We'll create an account for you. Amy, we'd invite you and James and the rest of the team at Wakelet to create a community here on Acadasia. And then once we create that community, we can invite you to, continue the discussion on how we can use Wakelet, for especially Acadasia teachers. That would be really fantastic if we do that together. And for our attendees here, so just go to Skill Ed. So you will have a list of all the professional development courses that are focused in upskilling and upgrading teachers at the convenience of your own time, own place, own location. You don't need to anymore, physically need to go to a place. You can get all your CPD points by taking our asynchronous and synchronous courses here. So you select the Wakelet project-based learning course here. And as Nina already presented to you, just make sure that you log in. There's a course discussion. If you click here, any other questions or discussions you can have here, we just started. So make sure to enroll in this course. You can watch the YouTube, the stream that we have, as well as the Wakelet resources you can access here as well. And then don't forget, towards the end, at the latter part of the course, lesson 3, there is the CPD attendance form. Okay, so aside from fulfilling all the assessments in the course itself, you have to answer this correctly. This is very important, or else you will not be credited for your CPD points. Okay, so for the entire month of November, we have up to 3 CPD points available. This will get you the second set. The third option will be available in our next event next week, but this is the second step for you to earn all 3 CPD points available this November. So don't forget, please fill these all up correctly so that you can get full credits for your CPD attendance this session today. All right. And then I'd like to also invite all of you for our next session. You know, you can see here, you can record your reflection in Wakelet. We use Flip. Maybe in the future, Amy, we can insert a Wakelet activity here. Okay, so maybe sometime we'll try that. That would be really cool. Yeah, and then for our next session, okay, so next week we'll be posting also our next session. So in fact, she's also Wakelet ambassador. May Versosa will be sharing us her experience in using PBL at Acadasia Teacher Spaces. And not only is she using Wakelet, she's also using other tools, okay, to do a nice PBL activity for her students. So be sure to catch us at Acadasia Teacher Spaces. That's next week, 7:30 p.m. Singapore, Manila time on a Thursday. So Thursdays for Acadasia Teacher Spaces. Sign up for that, and that'll be the final portion, final course that you can take with us so that you can earn full 3 CPD units for this month. Okay, so I hope we're flashing that on the screen. Okay, so that kind of wraps up our session today. Time flies by so fast. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll catch you next week. Amy, it's been a pleasure. We'll send you your free Acadasia account with us so you can join our community as well. We love to work with the Wakelet community together. And see you all. Jake, Nina, thank you so much on behalf of the Acadasia family. Thank you. This is Roy signing off for now. See you next week, everybody.
Thank you, Roy. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye, guys. Don't forget your courses. Bye.